It's been 2 months since the Switch 2 came out, and that means that Splatoon Raiders is only getting closer. The spin-off game that we still know very, very little about. Deep Cut getting their own story was met with people absolutely losing their minds, me included. But before we get jump scared by more content from Nintendo, possibly in a Direct, or on another random Tuesday sometime down the line, I want to take a stab at telling you what I think this game is going to be about. How much of it will still be true a month from now? A year from now? Who knows? I'm gonna make a big checklist, and the fun thing is that I can come back to this in the future and see how right I end up being. Let's start with the gameplay.
A robot.
You know that little guy at the start of the game? He's just the first one that you get. Mind you, I'm being biased as an Autobomb lover here, but I think we're gonna get more than one robot. But what's the goal of the game, you might ask? Well, clearly we're out at sea. Team C, hey? And if Shiver, Fry, Big Man, and you want to get home, you're gonna need to either repair that busted up helicopter or get a real strong boat. I mean, hey, we have our contraption dock thing, but that's not gonna be able to get you out of there. Why? Because I think there's gonna be something mysterious. A force that's keeping you from leaving the island naturally. Huge waves. Otherwise, what's stopping them from, attaching Big Man to a boat and just making him swim? But here's where things will differ from usual Splatoon story modes. Most story modes in Splatoon like to break it into pieces, with each world having a set number of levels. In Splatoon Raiders, every world is gonna be more Pikmin-like, where you can get to explore an area at your own pace and bring back what you find each day. You know, supplies, so you can leave. Instead of a set progression path, you'll be able to go to any island you want at the start, but certain areas will be cut off from your access until you find the right robot that can clear the path for you. Kind of like a Pokemon HM. You know how when you start a match in Splatoon 3, you kind of fly in from somewhere else? What if there happens to be an abandoned random spawn machine somewhere? Something like that. But that does mean something else. I think Splatoon Raiders will be the first Splatoon game with no specials. Think of your robot companion as what really gives you the edge here. These areas are probably gonna be pretty big. So why not have the ability to set down beacons before the end of each day? So when you want to come back to an area later on, you can jump to exactly where you want to go. However, you only can have 3 of them. But you know what you will be able to find out there? Listen, I'm a huge apartments truther, and I didn't get apartments in this game, but you know what we did get? We did get the locker system. Ignore my locker, okay? Ignore my locker. And there are so many objects. Come on. We could do it again. We could decorate the boat. What if this is finally the game where we have an apartments-like feature? What if people can visit your boat? Hear me out. Hear me out. Speaking of your boat, don't forget that Shiver, Fry, and Big Man are there. And they're gonna have lore that you can unlock by running around those islands, baby. Let's allow each area to be dedicated to one of the 3 of them. And when you interact with certain things on each area, you'll be able to unlock a memory. Just like Marina's logs or the Sunken Sea Scrolls, a member of Deep Cut will write down a bit of their past in a big journal they chose to share. It was gonna be used to document their findings and treasure huntings, but, if they're trapped on an island, they might as well write stuff down just in case they never get to go home. What would you expect from 3 guys who pick team friends, team experiences, and team love, okay? But how else do Shiver, Fry, and Big Man help you while you're doing all this exploring? Well, Shiver. Shiver is crafty. Shiver was on Team Gear. And something we haven't talked about yet is the fact that you do have a weapon, right? What if Shiver knows how to make more of them? Shiver could be the one that gives you recipes that you can then fill out to get more different weapon classes. Meanwhile, Fry will be on food duty. Fry is in charge of making sure that everybody's in tip-top shape and making things that will allow you to have slight upgrades while running around the islands. There's a meal that will let you run faster. There's a meal that will give you more stamina, so you can make it a little later into the day before you have to come back. There's a meal that will make you more aware and alert. Having a keen eye means you won't miss important things. Like, the like and subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Oh, and Big Man? Oh, Big Man. He's the only guy that can swim, remember? We talked about this before. Big Man's gonna be the guy that does a little bit of scouting for you. You can ask Big Man to check an area for you, and he'll come back with some information on what's there and where it is, and mark it off on your map. But not everything is gonna be fun in games. You do have a weapon, right? You wouldn't have that if there isn't something dangerous. And you know what? You have robots. But what if there's robots that aren't so nice romping around? But who's controlling the robots? Come on. We've all seen the end of the trailer, right? The big fish. It's the Salmonids. You've seen the mothership. You've seen the griller. They could definitely create some beasts that you have to fight. But oh boy, do I know who I want that big fish to be. Come on, we're at an island. There's huge waves. It's finally time for Whirlpool. I made a video about this a long time ago. A king salmonid boss that never came to be. Come on, it's right in Graysco's shop. It's never too late. A super chump themed salmonid king would be awesome. And this is the time. This is the time. Like a wishy-washy from Pokemon, right? So imagine that in every area you go to, there are a few scattered pieces of Whirlpool hanging around and about. And when you attack them, they flee, away to never be seen again. Until the end of the game, where you finally have to fight the whole guy. But I know, this does sound like it could be pretty limiting. After all, what happens after you beat the game? You just don't have anywhere else to go? Nah. I think Splatoon Raiders has the potential for a strong post-game. Remember how Side Order has a varying selection of pre-generated maps and levels to go to? Give Raiders more options than that and make it a collectathon. Deep Cut decides to recruit you for more cash-grabbing opportunities. And you know what? You've already hung out with them enough. So you say, yeah. Oh, and of course, make it multiplayer. Now that Deep Cut can get out and away on that big old boat that you've made, they've decided to call in more Inkfish to expand their treasure hunting empire on nearby islands. Team C might have been right about this whole travel thing. The goal of the multiplayer will be for you and your friends and your machines to clear an area as fast as you can and explore it for items. But you won't be trapped to one area for one sitting. If the host feels like you've collected enough objects, they can make the decision to jump over to the next one with everyone's approval. I think this is a game where Nintendo could even get daring on how long the matches are. Allow players to queue in and have a choice at what kind of game they have the time for. One with a 3-minute option, like Turf War, One with a 6-minute option, about as long as a game of Salmon Run is. And then finally, a 10-minute option for big scores. What are those scores good for? Well, first of all, there could be a leaderboard worldwide, which resets once a day of the best performers. Think about, extra work. But for this game. Ooh, and of course, the goods that you find can be converted to cash, which you can use to purchase decorations from the mainland to spice up your boat. Now that you're not trapped at sea anymore, you actually would get way more to actually pick from. And I'm taking a page out of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's book here. Let's say you don't have any friends on your Switch. Aw. Well, you'll be able to open up a menu and see what other players have going on. You could click directly on the rooms of people that you don't know and join them. Just skip the queue and hop on through. But now that you have a good understanding of what I want Splatoon Raiders to be like, let's talk about a few little miscellaneous things. Things I'd just like to see. Now, when you're running away from a bunch of fish, do you really want to be hearing music in the background? Maybe you don't. That's why Splatoon Raiders is going to finally be the game where there's gonna be a volume slider for the music. Why? Nintendo made it very clear that their Switch 2 has crazy good spatial audio systems. So what a better game to test it than one where you're running around in an open world, right? Nintendo might need an incentive for some people to buy Splatoon Raiders, so why not allow Splatoon 3 fans who purchase Splatoon Raiders to get something in return for their buy? How about, those freckles that the mechanic has? Come on, Splatoon 3 can already tell when you have Splatoon 2 data on your Switch, so would it be that hard? Go over to the machine, grab the freckles. Yes, but what if some people get Splatoon Raiders and then get interested in Splatoon 3? What if there's some kind of gear in Splatoon Raiders that you can only get by owning Splatoon 3? Are you seeing it? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? What's something we've seen in Splatoon 3 that never got anywhere else? Yes, Neo 3's hood. Just something simple, just like that. Let it wash ashore. Oh, what was that even doing in the helicopter? Who knows? It's yours now. I don't know if I'm getting that one on the checklist, but I can try. Alright, but how does Nintendo advertise the game in Splatoon 3, right? Well, what about a rerun of Gear, Grub, and Fun? Taking place sometime early next year. It's conveniently full of dialogue where Shiver, Fry, and Big Man talk about a trip they're planning on going. Maybe there's some ominous dialogue. They're like, yeah, like not like that would happen to us anyway. All right. I know. You want to know when I think the game is coming out. Well, with Deep Cut setting out on a new chapter in their lives, what better than when spring is right around the corner? The game looks pretty polished and ready to go. And next year, March 20th, the first day of spring, is a Friday. Nintendo loves to post games on Thursdays, so that's leaving us with March 19th, 2026. You know, as a homage to Splatoon 3, it's the third Thursday of the third month of the year. You see me, right? Yeah? That's all I got for today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get back to prepping my mechanical prowess by winning more games with the sloshing machine. Bye-bye!